What's up, guys? Welcome to episode number 5 of our Motorsport Manager F1 2019 series playthrough. We are with Williams. We're going to round 4 now, which is the Russian Grand Prix. As you can see, heavy on top speed, medium corners and high speed corners. Our car, not quite up to that. We've moved up to third in the high speed corners ability. Medium corners, no chance. And top speed, yeah, we're nowhere near, quite frankly. But we've made some improvements for this race. So I've fitted the new parts that we've been designing and building, with the exception of the new brakes, because the reliability on them is far too risky. I don't feel great putting cars out with 60 odd reliability either. But needs must, quite frankly. I think we need the upgrade. We might find ourselves coming out of the race early a little bit. Might have to look after the car a bit more in this one, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, if we nurse the car, we might be able to get a result here. Otherwise, there's not a lot to report. Did no sponsoring. Do we have a GMA? We've got a GMA coming up. I think it's this week or next week, so we'll see what happens on that one. So yeah, let's get into the race and see what occurs. We're going to go with the, I'll play it safe again with the 15th or above, because we seem to get above 10th more often than not. Let's try that one. Let's just make any difference really, but we'll risk it. In terms of tyres, we're on a high tyre wear track this time out, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 5 of those, 6 of those and 4 of those, because I don't think we're going to use softs during the race. I just kind of want enough to get us through qualifying, assuming we get to Q3, of course. In terms of the happiness with the car, by the way, I think they both think they've got a better car than the other, which they don't really, but life. Yeah, I think we're going to be relying largely on the mediums for pace in the race. 61 laps, but it does burn a lot of fuel and a lot of tyres, so I think a lot of the other teams will probably be looking at a 3 or even a 4 stop race, whereas I think we can do it in 2. I think we can do it in 2, assuming the times go the way we'd like them to. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do practice off camera, as always, and then we'll come back for qualifying and the race. So I will see you guys in just a second. So here it is, guys. Yeah, we did okay in practice. 3rd for Kubica, 13th for George Russell. Not a bad showing. I don't know if it will carry over into qualifying, because obviously there's some, a lot more messing around with tyres and setups and things, so we'll see what happens. But we've got the setups right for this one, I think. I'll just give you a quick look. All purple smileys. We like this. Some good laps. We're looking at a sub 1 minute lap as well, which is interesting for the race. Let's have a look at what we've got knowledge wise. We have to go with the softs and the quali trim. I only did one really short run on the softs because, like I said before, I think it's going to be a hards and mediums kind of race because of the high tyre wear. So let's get into quali and let's see what we can do. Apologies for that. Bit of a frog in my throat. Anyway, let's take qualifying. Let's see what we can do. Alright, we'll send out George first. He's slightly slower overall than Robert, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to send them out with a little bit of a gap. I think it will sort itself out. We're not looking at any rain today. Temperatures are low, sort of 12s, 13s. which means the tyres are going to be hot if it stays like that for the race. We're going to really struggle to keep tyre temps in check. But we're going to get on this green track. We're going to go around and just see what the first lap looks like with this size. So we're looking at a 55.9 apparently is the target time for the session. So, you know, high hopes. Apparently we're massively overheating the brakes and the tyres early on, which is good. Switch to George because George is going to get the first run in. Oh, they've both overheated their brakes on that last corner. George has got the tyres working from those, so we'll see what happens. Starting the flying lap, we're looking at about a 20-second sector, give or take. So we'll see how they come in. We're 13 second on the first sector. Purple for Russell. Kubica behind him, which is a bit of a turnabout from practice, but you know, I'm not bothered which of our drivers finishes ahead, because any chance of points really is good for us. So let's see what George Russell can bring his car round in. We're looking at 55.9 is the target time. That is a 55.8, which is a brilliant start to the lap, and Kubica has come round in what, a 55.56. 54.6 though for Hamilton, which is a good start to qualifying for him. And we're a second down. A second down probably means we're going out in Q1. Although Kvyat's just put a 1.7 down. Albon's behind us. We'll see how the track wears on, because let's have a quick look at the grip. We are going to get good grip towards the end. So hopefully, if these cars are doing 2 runs, maybe 3, we might find ourselves with a bit of extra time. Let's look at 5 minutes to go. We'll send, because we've got time if we send at 5 to get the car out for another lap, I think. Send Kubica first this time. I can't really risk too many more tyres. If we're going to get into Q2, we'll try one more. We'll try a fresh set on this run for Kubica. We'll go on the scrub set with George, because at the moment he's looking like our best bet to make it to Q2. So I want to use the fresh set for when the track is at its most grippy, I guess. But we'll see how this plays out. They should cross the line together, I think. There we go. So let's see how this lap shakes out. There might be room for improvement here. Kubica might be able to get a better time down with a bit more rubber on the track. George Russell, he's got a better time down as well. We don't see a big improvement to get through, I think. I think maybe 0.3 would do it for us, because I don't know if these other teams are going to come out. We do have time to get another lap out if we need to. We've got a complete track to ourselves right now. Well, if these cars, in fact, it will cross the line before they make it to the exit of the pit lane. So Kubica's coming through, looking like improving, not by much. Oh, well, that's awkward. That's very awkward. And the track's filling up with cars doing a final run as well, which might not help us terribly much. So we have to hope that sending them both, it's going to have to be Kubica on the scrubs this time, and we're going to have to send Russell out on the fresh set of boots. It almost crashes into the back of Kubica on the pit entry, which we don't really want to see. Right, what have we got tyres wise? They're about the same. In fact, given that our chances of making it through to Q3 are slim at best, we might just use another set of softs. I don't think we'll need more than 1 for the race, if at all. And that's only in an emergency, so let's let this play down a little bit. We know it's about a minute lap, so if we get them out with about 1:15 to go, It's got to take into account the time for the tyre change, which is 72 seconds, but such is life. And then we'll send George. That should give us enough gap. And let's really hope we can go for it this time. It would be very nice to get to Q2. I know we don't have the tyres really to make an impression in Q2, but it does at least give us a fighting chance in the race if we can get to Q2. A bit more of a fighting chance, I should say. So Kubica going out for his warm-up lap. I'm not going to speed through it this time because it's a pain trying to get back in time when it's a 1 minute lap. But hopefully Kubica and Russell will both cross the line before the timer runs out. They should get there. I'd be very surprised if they don't, although George Russell's going to be cutting it fine if Kubica's not. Oh, I've sent out too late. I thought I'd timed that just right, and I've cut it too fine. Oh, that's disappointing. That's on me. That one's on me. 16th and 17th. I guess we'll take that. Got no choice now. See how the rest of the grid shakes up. Stroll, Albon, and Kvyat are going out with us as things stand. No surprises. I mean, we're at that stage in the season where surprises aren't really going to be a thing. And I'm not too unhappy in some ways with that, because we have got those new parts in the car that aren't quite as durable. So this might play well for us in the race, purely because we're not going to have done as much damage to the car in qualifying. So let's see how this shakes out as Q2. Hulkenberg in there, Sainz in there, Perez you'd think would have a shot of getting out of Q2, but he doesn't seem to do a great job of it overall in general. And that's Raikkonen is out, Sainz, Norris, Giovinazzi and Perez going out. So the usual suspects in the top 10. It's really the top 5 teams, apart from us. I think we're the 5th best team right now in the top 10. So we'll see how this goes. You've got to be looking at Lewis or Vettel for the front row, although Charles Leclerc can find a turn of pace when he wants to. So he might surprise us, you never know. I very much doubt it, but you never know. Hamilton goes top of the timesheets. Hulkenberg gets himself up into second. He almost went out in Q2, remember? Or looked like he was going to go out in Q2 after Q1. But Hulkenberg, I thought he'd got himself on the front row, but some flying laps in there towards the end. And we've got a Hamilton-Vettel front row. Hulkenberg drops all the way down to 9th, which is very disappointing for him. But a 54.6, the top qualifying time. No big surprises. Gasly's about where you'd expect him to be if you've been watching Formula 1 this season. And now it's race time, and it's going to be a real thinker about what we do tyres-wise. Because I want to do it in one, ideally. Put the race trim on, but we'll do that after this because I need to have an idea of what we're doing strategy-wise. Well, first of all, strategy-wise, we're going to have to attack right from the get-go. In fact, can I afford? I'm going to put that on high because I don't want to push the car too much. It was a risk. It was a risk going with the new parts. It will limit us. So we've got 17 on the mediums, 11 on the softs, 24. So it's going to be a 2-stop race either way. Probably, 24, 41, 57. It might have to be a hard, medium, hard race or a medium, hard race. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start George Russell on the hards. I think that's the comfortable choice there. We'll start Kubica on the mediums and see if he can pick up some places. And then when we're setting up our knowledge, we're going to go with the hard and the race trim knowledge. Although, I'm going to have to ignore the bonuses for the mechanics, I think. And just go hards and race for both of them. Let's start the race. Let's see what we can do. There we go. There's the grid. Hamilton, Vettel, Leclerc, Bottas, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Grosjean, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Raikkonen, Sainz, Norris, Giovinazzi, Perez, Russell, Kubica, Stroll, Albon, Kvyat. You'd expect them to come back. The Toro Rosso car isn't that bad. Right, let's get into it. We're going to turn those off. And quick pause there. In fact, I can't use it straight off the line. I remember that. I can't use it straight off the line. So, I didn't want to put it in high mode. Yeah, George Russell's got himself up into 15th, 14th. He's going to struggle to hold 14th, I think, because Kvyat's going to fight him all the way. And, well, George Russell's looking good. Kubica's moving up the order, but coming to the end of the first lap, I think a lot of corner cutting there. You think there'd be some questions asked there. Let's put that onto auto. Kubica really needs to push. Let's turn that off. Let's burn that a little bit, because we need to see him come through. That is the slowest part of the track. That's fine. I don't think it makes any real difference. Russell, up to 10th, looking like he might push for 9th through this corner. Has he made it stick? He's made it go through. He's made it stick. And Kubica there, flying through, absolutely up into 8th. What was he? 15th, 16th at the start of the lap. What a boy! What a lad! Thing to start looking. Kubica's somehow saved a lot of fuel. I don't know how he's managed to save so much fuel, but we'll go with that. That's fine by me. We're going to have to look at turning the tyres down very shortly. I think we're going to give it till the end of this lap and then turn the tyres down. So we'll go to Kubica so we can see when we cross the line. Kubica up into 7th, and that's before we've implemented any real pit strategy as well, which is excellent work, really. Really good work. I think pushing him on the ERS as soon as was possible has really helped us. He's got clear area either side of him, so that should help with the part management. Just coming round to the end of this first lap, George Russell's overtaken Max Verstappen to get himself into 9th. We're going to push that down to a neutral. We're going to push George Russell down to a neutral. We'll keep the fuel high for a moment, well, for another sort of 2-3 laps, I think. Just because we can afford to burn a little bit. We're not pushing the engine too hard when it's in high. If we look at the park condition, where are we at? In 63 on the brakes is the lowest there. We've got a 60 on the rear wing there. That's not too bad. That should see us through the race if we don't push too hard or for too long. Russell's doing a good job of holding off Verstappen, and they're going to have to, there's a lot of cars ahead of us that will have to pit before we do. There's going to be a 3-stopper for us a 2-stopper for us for sure. Looks like the AI teams are going for a 3, which is very risky, because you're looking at Hulkenberg's probably pushing hard on that tyre, same Ricciardo. Probably looking at them coming in around lap 9-ish. And we should be good till 15, 16. George Russell's been passed by Verstappen and by Gasly. But we shouldn't be keeping pace with the Red Bulls anyway, so that's not too bad. Also, he's on the hard tyre, they're on the softs. They are going to have to pit, and actually after the first round of pit stops, we should be in a 1-2. In theory, I think it's about an 18-19 second pit stop. So at the moment, we're on for a 1-2, maybe a 1-3, because Raikkonen is still out there, and we know what Raikkonen can do on a set of tyres. We'll see how it goes. Certainly looking good though. Raikkonen is coming up on the back of us now, but I don't feel the need to change the strategy. I think we're doing just enough to keep him behind us. I'm not overly worried if we don't keep him behind us, because we are going to have to pit after he does, because we've been pushing and he has not. I mean, he's really trying to make these mediums go the distance, I think. I mean, not the whole distance, because that would be crazy. I mean, you wouldn't put it beyond Kimi Raikkonen to make them go the distance. But he's trying to get as many laps out of them as he can. Maybe he's looking at a one-stop straight onto hards, which could make him an outside choice to win the race if he pulls that off. But we're looking good. We're up to a 0.6 gap. George Russell, he's got Norris on his rear wing. But again, that's not the biggest problem, I don't think. He is on the hard tyres. He's running, 5 seconds ahead, 4.5 seconds ahead of the next hard tyre running driver, which is Kvyat. You'd suggest he could probably pick up a few points, especially if we're taking one less stop. He's got past Norris. Instead of battle with Norris, let's switch and look at the battle. We will speed up in a second once we get into the boring part of the race. But George Russell in a good old battle with the two McLarens there. Properly inches in it. It's literally corner to corner, although Norris looks like he's got himself ahead now. Sainz is going to probably make a charge up the outside here as well, which, the McLarens can do. Russell's gone into hybrid mode, which I don't really want him to do, but what I might do is switch him out of that and push down this back straight. And there we go, he's gone, the boy is gone. Up into 10th place, and he's got up 0.4, he almost got to the back of Gasly there. Looking at Kubica, where's Kubica at in terms of places? It's 3 seconds down on Ricciardo. I think what we're going to do is we're going to wait until he gets within touching distance, or when the guys ahead go into the pits, and we're just going to push through. Just harvest that ERS, and then we can really start to push through with him. Get ourselves sort of semi-comfortably into that lead group, because they should start coming through. Although we might have to pit him at the same time as Hamilton and Vettel. Danger, Will Robinson. But okay, Kubica's starting to pull away from Raikkonen. Is Raikkonen massaging the tyres a little bit? He's not really. He's matching us strategy-wise. He's got less battery than us, but that's fine. Ricciardo's in the pits, so we'll take Ricciardo quite nicely there. Ricciardo's coming on another pair of softs, so he's definitely going for 3 stops. George Russell up into 9th because of that as well. Probably going to see 1 or 2 teams come in. Robert Kubica wants to come in for tyres, but he's not quite in the window yet. Another couple of laps he might be, but we're just going to really push as far as we can on this tyre for him and see if we can't get it. Leclerc comes into the pits now. We're going to make it out before Leclerc. We should make it past Leclerc. Really swift. There's 3 cars ahead of him. It's a 7-second gap. But if we can get a good push, there goes Russell's push beyond Lando Norris for 7th. You're 42% of the battery available, which maybe if these Mercs or the Ferrari come in now, you'd want, if you were running the Mercedes team, you'd want to be looking for that undercut with Bottas, I think. And if they're looking for the undercut with Bottas. We're going to go for a big push through now. Big push. I think that's probably the time to do it. George Russell's up into 6th, having gone past Verstappen and I'm presuming Leclerc in the pits. Leclerc, Bottas in the pits. It's into that middle section now. We're 10 seconds behind, so if those guys pit this lap, and they are pitting this lap, or Vettel's certainly pitting this lap, Hamilton's going for another one. Maybe trying the overcut, but I feel like we can get out ahead of Vettel just about. There we go, up into second, and we're going to have to think about pitting probably on this lap with Kubica. So we're going to go for a big push on the tyres and on the fuel. Just take whatever we can out of these tyres now. Don't need to really make a decision until this back straight here. And we're going to bring him in for his first set of hards. Don't need to do any park condition, maybe. Oh, that rear wing could suffer. We'll add full charge, and should we risk a fast pit stop? What's the difference? 15th or 14th? Battling Ricciardo, battling Hulkenberg. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. I wasn't expecting points in this race, so we'll see how it goes there. Hamilton's in as well. So we could have had a kind of a half-assed lead. Chose not to. George Russell goes up into fourth. He's not going to make it up into third, I don't think. But that's fine. So we're going to keep an eye on George Russell now. We're going to move those tyres down to a neutral and the engine onto medium mode. Just going to move Russell down to medium mode for a little while too. See how he's settling in. He's just behind Leclerc. He is not catching, which is not surprising. He's got probably another few laps on these tyres. He wants to push on them, maybe, and get some heat back into them while we can. But let's do a lap on attack. We'll bring him in now. We'll see if we can get the undercut on. We're looking at what? It is about an 18-second pit stop, which is not too shabby. I think Russell will do one, maybe two more. Call it one, because I don't feel super confident. We are losing time to Valtteri. Do I do another stint on hards? It takes us to 54? 55? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do another run on hards, and then I feel like we might get a soft run in. We might, if we're lucky, get a run on softs in. So it might have hurt Kubica actually, me going this medium then hard, because we could have done it on a medium, on a hard soft. Where it looks like he's going to have to do a medium hard medium with the way the track's progressing. We aren't expecting any wet weather at all. The track grip is going up. The temperature is not high, but we'll see. It's George Russell. He's not going to make it past Kubica. That's absolutely fine. And now we're kind of in that middle part of the race. We'll take those tyres off. Put them on push. We will do a push on Kubica too, because I think he can maybe do something with them. There you go. We put him on push, and he really flies. Like, he really flies. But the tyres, they degrade so fast. It's so cold. Like, trying to get any heat in these tyres is an absolute nightmare. We are having to run cold. I'm going to turn that off because I think I can push him past possibly even Verstappen coming off this corner. It's up a couple of places. Can we make it stick into 6th? You'd like to think we could. There we go. It's gone past it's gone past Gasly. Russell's taken Lando Norris on the track again. Really having to think about our strategy today. Usually I can work out in my head as we go, but really having to give this strategy a lot of thought today because Kubica's tyres are burning through. He's just burning tyres. Whereas Russell seems to be looking after his a bit better. I don't know if there's any special trait for that. There's nothing there that suggests he can look after tyres any better than anyone else. So we'll just have to see. I mean, Kubica's tyres aren't any more worn than Max's. Charles Leclerc's going to have to pit, but he's probably going to come out ahead of us. I mean, I think that front four is largely set as the front four, unless they take an extra stop, which is not impossible. Because that's a huge gap right now. We'll give it a push through. We're going to keep an eye on tyres. We are in that section of the race with George Russell's battling with Norris all the way through. But yeah, I mean, we've got half a second on Gasly, give or take. We're about 4 seconds behind Verstappen. Gasly's gone on the ERS and he's gone. Now George is in a battle with Magnussen. Let's take those tyres down because they are burning. Kubica can't get enough heat into the tyres. So we have to push. We might have to go to a 3-stop race at this rate. Because it's really not looking very hopeful right now. I don't know if Kubica can make the hards last for 30 laps. So we'll have to be a little bit cautious, but we'll see. George Russell's tyres should be coming down in temp. They don't run terribly well at medium push. We've got some fuel to burn though. We do have fuel to burn. So maybe we'll put Russell into high mode there, and we'll put Kubica into high mode. Just see if they can pick up some places. Kubica's form is a 0.8. That's never raced before form. Worrying. Really worrying. How far are we behind Gasly? About a second behind. We might catch him through this back section where he's about to pit. I might have to do the big push once he peels off into the pit lane. Just open up that gap a bit because he has been quicker than us all weekend really. So there's our push. Try and force him through. There we go. Up into 6th ahead of Kimi Räikkönen. He will have to come in for tyres, so we are looking to kind of build that gap a little bit. We'll see. Tyre management in a race where the track's this cold, though, it's a nightmare. It is a nightmare. What we're looking at parts-wise, Kubica, his wing's going to start dropping off soon. He's only about... We've got past half distance and he's lost about 30%. We'll be touch and go towards the end. I don't want to have to come in and fix a wing because that's going to take forever. I mean that will ruin our race. But it was the risk I took when I chose to put out essentially experimental parts at this stage. Kubica's going fairly well. We're going to run this tyre down as far as we can, I think. Get as much performance out of these tyres. We can take them to about 10%, 5%, I think. And they'll still give us decent times. And then we'll really assess where we bring in Kubica. Is there a problem with the rear wing? I mean, there is. There is a real problem with the rear wing. Let's just pause that a second. What's the gap behind Kubica? 20 seconds is going to bring us back out around 10th, 9th, 10th. If we do a wing change, if we do a wing change. It's only 7 seconds. That's probably worth it, because an engine will take us days. And it all depends where it will bring us out, doesn't it? We'll definitely be last there. We'll do the wing change. We need to do the wing change. We'll do the charge, because that way we can push him on the way out. We'll hope nothing goes wrong. In terms of Russell, his rear wing's taking a battering as well. But this is a risk we've got to take at this point. We've got to put that fresh rear wing on. This is a rear wing heavy track. Verstappen's in as well. We're not going to get out ahead of Verstappen, even with our usually fast pit team. We've had an error somewhere. Front jack. Oh, come on, man. One job. We're going to come out at about 12th, 13th because of that error. Oof. So close to an accident with Perez, and Gasly takes advantage. Oh, sorry, Stroll and Hulkenberg takes advantage. That's more what I was trying to say. Let Kubica get a little bit of heat into those tyres and get a bit of a push. Verstappen, Giovinazzi, there's a bit of a battle going on there, but I think we can push up and join them. Maybe that momentum will carry us through. Kubica, he's only 2 seconds off Perez. He's 7 seconds off the points. A little bit of fuel to play with. And my concern is I'm going to have to probably bring in Russell for a new wing as well. And Carlos Sainz has crashed. Is this going to bring out the safety car? It's an awkward position. Nope, no need for a safety car. That is fine. So we'll keep riding with George Russell. Where are we at in terms of condition there? He might make that to the end of the race. He might make it. We've got 19 laps to go. He is going to have to switch on to a medium tyre, I think, to get to the end. Again, it's all about that timing. Let's see if we can push Kubica a bit, because he's just coming around onto the main straight. He is quick once we get the ERS going. There you go, up into 11th. That was doable. That was doable on the track. I think George Russell's coming in a couple of laps, maybe. We'll do a full kind of assessment of where he is now. So his car should hold together. We've got to get him 18 laps. There's no point trying to keep him out to get him onto the softs, so we'll do that. We'll not do anything with the park condition. We'll risk a full charge on the battery, and we will risk the pit crew because we should be okay. So we'll see where this brings him out. You'd expect him to come out around 16th, maybe. Giovinazzi's coming into the pits as well. Hopefully no mistakes this time round. That would be beautiful. There we go. 3-second stop. I'm not sure if I'm happy with that. Our pit crew are probably quite tired at this point in the season. Let's go back to Kubica and we'll kind of settle in with him. Because I feel like he's only a couple of seconds behind. He is on a push on the fuel. Oh, sorry, it's George Russell. I'm going to have to bring his tyres back down to neutral because I don't want to have to pit him again, and I'm very afraid that we'd have to. I don't think his car can really take this high strategy. I think we have to try and settle into 9th. And we'll just kind of preserve the car a bit. And really, really hope that we don't need to push too hard. I mean, he's kind of in no man's land. We'll leave him alone for a second. Here's George Russell. I'm not too concerned about giving up that ERS boost there because we'll take him on the main straight as we come round. I'll do one quick blast on high fuel, full ERS. Let's see what we can do. Can we push through? You wouldn't bet on it, would you? I tried a strategy to get past Giovinazzi. You were too far down the road. We know you've got fuel to spare. We're not daft. But we also know that your car is falling to pieces, quite frankly. I'd rather carry high fuel than do a big burn and ruin the car. That would be the ideal, because we should be able to get to the end on the tyres we have. Yes, we're carrying excess fuel. I should have factored in the fact we wouldn't be able to push as hard and drop the fuel by a couple of laps worth. Didn't really think that through. Because I often forget there's so many factors we have to play with. Russell might be, you'd think he'd be able to get in that slip. Norris and Hulkenberg will have to pit, but they are going to come out on fresh tyres. Gasly might have to pit, which might push us up the order as well. So we're just going to kind of sit in here. There you go. Norris has come in, so that's pushed us up to 12th with Giovinazzi just ahead of us, and Russell looking okay. Hulk has pushed past. Let's just see what we can do about that with Kubica. Let's get a good push through. Try and conserve a little bit there. Hopefully we'll pick up a little bit more ERS under braking. We're going to hit a push as soon as Hulk hits that pit lane. There we go. And that should hopefully be enough to keep him behind us. Strange noise from the engine. Oh, it's 10 laps, mate. You're going to have to suck it up, Buttercup. Suck it up, Buttercup. That is the rule here. You don't want to see a guy lose pace, but if I bring him in for an engine... I'm not sure, but if I bring him in for an engine... That's 16. That's basically put us out the race. Because even if I could push on a soft... It's probably not worth that many laps. But then I'm not finishing the race. Or it's a risk. Let's just have a quick pause a second. I'm just going to check, see anyone on softs, what are they doing lap time wise? They're lapping about a second slower than us. Is there a way to see the historic lap times? You'd think there would be, but there's not. Hulk's on his 5th pit stop. Bloody hell. What are you saying? Your rear wing is damaged. That's going to make it through. That'll make it through to the end. It's mostly Kubica I'm concerned with. Do you know what? I think we can get Russell in the points anyway. We'll stick on a set of softs. We'll fix the engine. We'll throw in as much charge as we can. And we'll hit that fast pit stop. And we'll see where we can go. We're gonna have to ignore George Russell a little bit for a little while. Let's put an attack on just while he comes into the pits. We can go into push once he comes out of the pits because he'll be on those soft tyres. He'll have half the tyre life really to play with. Get the engine sorted and hopefully we'll get some power back. I'd love it if we came out 11th, but I don't see it somehow. Do a big push out the pits. big push out the pits. Let's see what we can do here. I can attack a bit, but sort of, let's screw it. Let's attack a bit. What have we got to lose at this point? Nothing to lose at this point. George Russell, I need to push a bit on his tyres, don't I, really, to get that temp back up. What's he got left on his engine? Maybe enough? Maybe enough to take a high mode push. And we'll hope that Kubica can do something here. I don't want to pull over. I'd rather he force Verstappen to pass him, because we've been on the same lap as him for a while. And it seems a shame to let that go to waste if we can avoid it. So we'll just keep going for now, and let's close that down so we can see what we're doing. George Russell, he's got 9 seconds behind him. He doesn't need to be pushing. I'm just getting his tyre temp up a little bit, really. Giovinazzi is within range. So is Stroll from Kubica. You'd think Kubica would be able to push through there. Maybe we can get enough ERS to give him a quick boost down the main straight, because he should be able to blast past Stroll fairly easily on pace. Oh, he's matched us. He's matched it. That's outsmarted by Lance Stroll. But we've got to run on him. Can we do it? Oh, too slow into the corners. Far too slow into the corners. We've got to keep attacking. Keep attacking. Let's go. Let's take him. Come on. It's not out of the realms of possibility that George Russell can do something here. What's the condition like? Don't want to push too early on him. Give him a 1 lap push. Give him a quick 1 lap push, because that's not the worst thing we can do. Just keep an eye on that condition. You are going through those tyres a bit quick. Let's go back to neutral, see if we can cool them down. Come on, George, let's see what we got. We're closing the gap. We're not... Oh, it's got to come back down. We can't handle that for too long. Got to get through 4 laps, but I'd rather we get through 4 laps in 9th than try and do something stupid pushing for 8th. And suspension is going, so we're going to have to take you into medium mode. Really screwed up Kubica's race, but that engine will be better for the next race. It will have that touch more reliability. George Russell's tyres are worn. They will make it to the end of the race. I'd be very surprised they didn't. Even pushing as we are, we'll push on Kubica's tyres though, because he should be able to get through to the end from where he is as well. So yeah, some big stoppers though. Magnussen and Hulkenberg coming in for 4. Gasly in for 3. Greer in for 3. We've come in for 3 with Kubica because we had to fix that engine. Vettel has just come in for his 3rd stop, but he's coming on a pair of softs. And Hamilton's tyres are quite worn. He might, if he gives it a good push, he might be able to get that 9-second gap down. Maybe. It would have to be a very strong, very hard charge. What's he doing right now? He is doing that strong, hard charge. Yeah, he's sat in that no man's land. He's not panicking. I don't often say this, but let's switch to a car that isn't ours, and we'll see if Vettel can make this chase down. He's got some kind of damage. Doesn't tell us what the damage is, but maybe, and we're on the last lap. It feels unlikely he's going to make that 7-second stick. Got back markers there as well. That's Albon. He's not going to pull this off, is he? There's only a couple of corners left to go. Hamilton's lapped everybody up until 5th. Vettel's on the fastest lap in the race potentially, but he is going to come in 2nd. It's a 6-second gap. Is George Russell going to cross the line as well? He is lapped, so he is, he's carrying a bit of extra fuel, but he's powering over the line. Not bad, 9th place. We'll take 9th place. Could have been a lot worse for us. And I'm very aware, guys, I apologise this video has gone long, but I was really enjoying that race. I don't know why. I do, because I was enjoying the race. But, yeah, not the worst, not the best. We did get some points, which is all we really need to focus on at this stage. We know that the engine in Kubica's car needs a bit more work. We knew that going in. But we're doing okay. We've done not too badly off of the weekend, to be honest. 2 points is definitely a decent haul. Way better than it looked after qualifying. And yeah. Yeah, not too shabby. The strategy worked just well enough to get us up there. I feel like I could have made improvements. I could have dropped some fuel, knowing that we were going to have to, or we were not going to be able to push. We could have just started light and caught up on ourselves a little bit. Preserved the parts, but hindsight is, as always, 2020. We've done it on two stops, and we've done quite well. A lot of the cars behind us, 3s, 4s. So it was definitely the right idea to go for less stops and slower tyres. There's only about a second a lap difference, if that, between the tyres. So it doesn't really make any sense to cost yourself 20 seconds. But we've got the sponsor bonus. We've got 9th place, 2 points on the board for George Russell. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, Russell is in 14th. He's got 8 points now. Kimi Räikkönen making a big jump above a whole bunch of cars with his score today. Kubica drops down a position into 9th with his 13 points. Giovinazzi picking up some good points. But as you can see, Racing Point was still waiting on, forcing you, however you like to call them, they're still waiting on a point score for the season. Haas have only got 10 points, so they're still safely behind us. And Toro Rosso have got 4, again safely behind us. Carlos Sainz has only got points for McLaren, so they're safely behind us. So at this stage in the season, we're safe from relegation. I'd be surprised if we finished above 5th. Renault you'd expect to come through with some strong form later in the season. So we will see where we go. Alex Albon, joke driver. I don't think anyone feels like that in real life. Yeah, not too bad, guys. Not too bad. So we're going to keep pushing with some parts. We're going to come back for the next race in the next episode, which I will tell you what it is if this load screen and the inevitable save, because autosave is the devil, if they come together, we'll see how that goes. See what we're doing next, and we'll see if we can get this car up into scratch. Let's look at the driver improvements. That form, 2.2. That's got to be the worst form on the grid. Although George Russell's not really setting the world on fire. Not bad on the drivers, though. We'll see what we can do. We've made a loss again. We're going to keep making a loss until next season, I think, purely because our sponsors aren't great. We've got the worst sponsors on the grid. Good finish should help us this year, though. And there you go, there's confirmation of where everything is, as if we hadn't just seen it. So, we'll get through the save, because it likes to save. It does like a save. I keep it on autosave because it's the dumbest reason. I bought a new gaming PC, as you guys know. The guys who've been watching the Football Manager stuff know. I bought a new gaming PC to speed things up. But I'm used to playing Motorsport Manager on the old laptop, because it's something I like to kind of play on the move. And it doesn't like to crash. It does. It loves a good crash. So, our next race in 3 days, literally 3. The following week is in Tondela, which is a high-speed track, lots of tight, twisty corners, good acceleration out of them needed. It's kind of the analog to not Jerez, Catalonia, Spain. For those of you who are of that inclination, yeah, we might do okay. We might do okay. Our car can handle it. I think I might see a couple of points coming in. Anyway, On that bombshell, I'm going to leave it there because you don't see me answer emails because that's boring for all of us. Anyway, I know it's been a long episode. This series will be long episodes. You may have figured that out already because I play full race distance. But you either love it or you hate it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you all next time. Hit that like and subscribe button because it really helps me to get more people to watch my content. And then we can have a good old chinwag in the chat. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to see you all very, very soon. Until next time, have a good one.